There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm still a little hot, probably there. This box is messed up, so you have to have it in there just right, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay. So sorry about that. We got just a couple quick announcements before we get started. Today we do have a potluck after enjoy some time. Oh, we did. Okay, awesome. We also do have a board meeting after worship, so if you want to stick around for that, that's fine. Or I mean, after the potluck. If not, that's okay too. This Tuesday, we're doing a superfood giveaway with Mountain Dew. And so, if you want to be a part of that or join in with that, let me know. Or if you know somebody who really needs some food that could use the food box, let me know as well. We'll kind of coordinate that. We do have worship practices Wednesday, and then we're looking forward to doing church in the park at Storyboard Park, which is just like 2 blocks that way. We're just gonna do our normal church day, no Sunday school, but just a normal church day at the park, and we're gonna do kind of a barbecue potluck thing. So you're invited to bring, salad or dessert or something like that, and join us and invite anybody you know. I think that's it for now. Unless there's anything I'm missing. But let's go ahead and pray as we open this morning. Keep our heads with me. Lord, we're here with grateful hearts, and we're thanking you for your mighty works, your guidance and your presence in our lives. As we seek to worship you today, Lord, we ask that you would make your presence known to every person here. Let this body of believers sing out in song and heart to you. Receive our praise and guide our weary hearts. Lord, continue to mold us and to shape us and to lead us into the disciples that you intend for us to be and the church that you have in store for this community. Give us a strong and mighty foundation. We praise you, Lord, for worthy of our praise. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. Okay, you guys will stand with us. We're going to open with a hymn called Here I Am, Lord. It's number 452 in your hymnal, but it'll also be up above. So we're going to sing this, Come By Here. By here, Lord, come by here, come by here, my Lord, come by here, come by here, my Lord, come by here, oh Lord, come by here. Amen. You may be seated. Our psalm this morning is Psalm 82. Want to open your Bibles, you can. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods he holds judgment. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Give justice to the weak and the orphan. Maintain the right of the lowly and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. They have their knowledge nor understand. They have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk around in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I say, you are gods, high, all of you. Nevertheless, and fall like any prince. Rise up, O God, judge the earth, for all the nations belong to you. This is the word of the Lord. You'll see this. Pray from. Just be prayer warriors for those things that we are looking at right now. We'll always pray for our community and the ministries that are happening around. Or other organizations like Oasis that kind of houses and people who are homeless. These are mission organizations like that. We also just pray for our church and how God will lift up. And a couple things that I've added from last week. Going to roll on Friday for she's my second cousin, but she's had kind of a hard last 2 years maybe, or maybe even more. She's been dealing with a lot of stuff, and she finally passed away last week, and so I think it was Friday night when it was, and I'm going to be going to that. Also, around the same time, my Bible pastor who actually baptized me in Billings, Montana, he died. And so I'm just kind of remembering him as well. So prayers for those families and those people. And he is Kathy Myers-Wert's father. For those of you who know Kathy Myers-Wirt, she's our regional minister. And so Kathy's father is the one who has died. And he died in Portland. And that's where they're going to have the service too, is at the First Christian Church in Portland, Oregon. So we're definitely praying for her and for Doug as well and their family as they're mourning his loss as well. And all the things that are on here, is there anything that we should add or subtract or change or take away to this list? Oh, Lila, I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood. Okay. Lila, okay. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Michelle Roberts, we have her on there, but she is not doing well right now, and she said she's been going to church at NBCC and Brothers in Christ
Okay.
medical bills. And she asked if we would be part of that. And she said that we, at Wednesday, and I said, we have a potluck,
Yeah, there's no way.
be there, but I would be happy to call you after and see what
Okay.
we can do. So, just, you know, you,
Okay.
I'm sure you all remember that Gary Waters, Gary's daughter-in-law, ex-daughter-in-law.
Okay. Well, maybe we can talk about that later too. We'll figure out how to connect with that. Yeah, there's no way I can make it for that.
I told her that.
Okay. Okay. Any others? Dave?
I guess Emma turned 96 on Friday.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow. Wow. 96. That is awesome. That is awesome. Maybe we should just sing her happy birthday. I kind of feel like we should. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Emma. Happy birthday to you.
And she joined with 65 of her nieces, nephews, great-nieces, great-great-nieces, and nephews yesterday as we gathered in a family reunion, which is why I'm here and my daughter.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, awesome. That's awesome. Wow. Well, congratulations. Yeah.
Buffalo.
Nice to have you. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. That's right. This next weekend, not today, obviously, but this next weekend, there's a women's retreat up in Cascade at the Ashley Inn. And so I don't even know exactly how many of you are going. From our church. Yeah, that's the one, right? You're not going to? Oh. Okay, I just assumed, sorry.
I know, but my pastor unions.
Okay. Well, we're still going to be praying for the ladies who are going to the retreat. That it is a very fruitful event for you guys. Are there any other?
Actually, can I say one more thing? Because I sent a written thank you, but I would like to thank the ladies at the Burley Church for helping me to go to Ecuador on this helping me. Thank you.
Awesome. So very thankful. As you heard, we have so many things to rejoice in, to be grateful for, to just be thankful for your presence in our lives. I know that all good things come from to lift each other up. You have asked for us to another, and so we do that today. We want to lift up this list that is in front of us, and all of the things that have been spoken loud, and the things that are also written on our hearts, Lord, because you know us, you know each and every one of us, and you know our hearts. And so we want to just trust in you and lift these things up to you, trusting that you will fulfill your promises, and that ultimately we can handle anything that this life throws at us, because with you we can endure all things. And so we lift all these things up to you, and we pray these things as Jesus taught his disciples to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And now, as I say, let the children, Jesus said, let the children There we go. That's good. Okay. How's everybody doing? Oh, you got some sunglasses, huh? Oh, that's so nice of you. Well, how are you guys doing today? Good. It's good to have you guys up here. Yeah, you're excited too, aren't you? Today, you guys, we're talking about a guy named Isaac. And you may or may not have heard of Isaac, but Isaac is Abraham's son. And yeah, there's kind of a lesson that Isaac teaches us that we're going to talk with these guys about, and I want to try to help simplify for you guys. Have you guys ever thought that you knew what the best thing was, and then your parents said that you shouldn't do that? Yeah. You thought you knew what you were doing, and your parents were like, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that because you might get hurt, right? Because sometimes we think, oh man, we can do something, but really we can get hurt doing it, or maybe it's not the right time, like it might be a rude time, and Jackson wants candy. And sometimes our parents tell us that we should or shouldn't do something, or maybe there's something that we don't want to do, but our parents tell us that we should, huh? Because maybe it's a good thing for us. Right, guys? Hey, Brady, why don't you come over here? Yeah, you're talking. Here. Brady, why are you going with mom? Okay. But yeah, sometimes our moms or dads tell us that we should or shouldn't do something when we think the opposite, huh? Has that ever happened to you? But you know, our parents want really great things for us, don't they? And so sometimes we have to trust in our parents, right? That they are going to do the good thing for us, right? And they'll mess up because they're humans too, just like us. But they're trying to do what's right for us and what would be the healthiest thing for us or the safest thing for us to keep us, because they love us, don't they? Hey, do you guys think your parents love you? Yeah, I bet they do. And do you know who else loves you a lot? Jesus does. That's right. And so sometimes Jesus asks us to do things that we don't think we should do, maybe, but because he loves us, he's asking us to do it because of how much he cares for us and wants us to be safe and wants us to do good things, huh? Yeah. And so that's kind of what Isaac's story is about, is about listening to God, even when Isaac had a different plan, right? He wanted to do something different, but we got to listen to God anyway. And so that's what I want you guys to remember, though, today, is that sometimes we want to do things, and our parents might tell us something different, or we know that God doesn't tell us to do those kind of things, and so we shouldn't do them, huh? Or maybe we need to do something that we don't want to do. But those are the things that we need to be paying attention for, okay? Because we know that our parents love us, and that Jesus loves us very much, and wants good things for us, huh? Okay, let's pray. Ready? Lord, we thank you so much for these kids. We ask that you would continue to teach them and to guide them and lead them into the good things of life, the blessings that you have in store for them. And that you would continue to help us as adults and people that are in their lives to continue to share Jesus with them in a good way. Not just through our words, but through our actions and the ways that we interact with each other and the ways we interact with them. We just thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, now you guys can have these seats. Just take one, okay? At this time, I'd like to invite the elders and deacons to please come forward. So we come to our time of communion this morning, and it's great to have all of you here from different places and areas, because that's really what communion is about. It's about being able to come from different homes, different cities, different places that maybe we live, but still be able to come together to a table where we're all welcome. No matter what life has are all called to this place. And that is one of the beautiful things about having communion each and every week, because this is really the center of the service. This is what this is about, is that we are gathering and we worship because we are also gathering and remembering Christ. And we do that in sort of in a culmination way with communion. And so I invite all of you to prepare your hearts and your minds this morning as people who are doing our best to follow Christ and to be believers in Jesus. You are all welcome to partake in this meal. And so will you please join me in our affirmation of faith that's printed above and also in your bulletin. I believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God, and my personal Savior and Lord. Let's pray.
Our Father, we come this morning to your house, praising your name. We ask you to be with each one of us, and especially with our family extended that is here today, that we may sing your praises and reach out and glorify what you have done for us. As we come around our table, we ask you to be with us as we partake of the cup and the loaf, that we are reminded of how much love you have for us, and that you were so willing to lay down your life that we would follow you and be saved to go to heaven. We ask in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took the bread and he gave thanks and he blessed it and he broke it, saying, "This is my body that has been broken for you. Eat of it, all of you, in remembrance of me." In the same way, he took the cup and he said, "This is my blood that has been poured out for the forgiveness of sins. For as often as you eat of this bread and drink of this cup, you do proclaim my death until I come again." And so, all of us are welcome at this table today. offering it often I have conversations with people all the time about, the churches want to just take money and all these things, but really, tithing is a spiritual practice. It's something that we are called to do, not because it's about the money, but it is a lot more about what money does to us and what money can mean to us. The Bible does say that, it does not say that money is the root of all evil, but it does say that the love of money is the root of all evil. And what's interesting about tithing is that every week or month or however you plan it out, you're called to set aside a certain amount. A certain amount because you are being called into a practice of releasing this hold that money can have over us. It is so easy for us to hold on to money. I often will ask people, how easy is it for you to spend $20 at some place that you love to shop versus putting $20 in the offering plate? Because money creates selfishness. It creates a want within ourselves. It can create negative effects. But you know what? Money can also be used for some amazing, amazing things. So tithing, offering, being generous, it's a spiritual practice. It's something that we're called into. It's not really about the amount of money or the money itself, but it's about what's happening within us and what we're being called into. And so I encourage you to get joyfully this morning to listen to what God is calling for you to do. But if you're new, please let the plate pass you by. We're not asking anything of you. We're just simply glad that you're here, worshiping with us, and we hope that you do come again soon. So will the deacons please receive this morning offering? Please rise.
Our Father, we come today with joy in our hearts that we can worship in your house. We thank you for everything, the blessings you have poured down on us, and that we can joyfully give part back. It's such a blessing to be able to return a little of what you've given us. We ask you to bless each one and bless the money that has came in, that you might build your kingdom here and around the world. We ask in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Okay. Well, if you've got your Bible with you this morning, I encourage you to grab it. And if you don't have one, there should be some in the pews in front of you. Or if you forgot it or whatever, there's some in the pews. And if you don't own one, we want you to take that Bible home as our gift to you. Or pick another one. There's a lot of different kinds of Bibles. But we want you to be able to have God's Word at home with you. So if you've got your Bible, grab it, hold it, repeat after me. This is my Bible.
This is my Bible.
God's Word written for me.
God's word written for me.
I am what it says I am.
I am what it says I am.
I have what it says I have.
I have what it says I
And I
have.
So, stories of faith. This is we're going through this series talking about these different stories of faith, specifically in the Old Testament, because we're using Hebrews 11 as our guide. Where Hebrews 11 talks about what faith is, and it gives examples of all these different people who have faith, and we're kind of recapping each of the characters that are named in Hebrews that they're listing. And so that's kind of what our sermon series has been on, these stories of faith. And we're looking at these stories of faith because we can learn so much about God and even ourselves by hearing the stories and understanding them and being able to internalize them and make them a guide for pieces of our own lives. Now, none of these are going to fit into our life to receive, right? But they give us a guide point to go, oh man, I've been in a similar situation, and this is the kind of faith that God is calling me to have. And so these are awesome ways to be able to encourage us as well. And we started with Abel's story, Cain and Abel, and we know that Abel's story kind of teaches us to use the best of ourselves to glorify God, to use the best of ourselves. The best of ourselves shouldn't be saved just for us, but it should be used to glorify God, and then to trust that He will provide, even though we are giving the best of ourselves. And so that's Abel's story. And Enoch, his story teaches us that God rewards those who seek Him, and that those who walk with Him, He's not going to forget you, but He rewards those who seek them. And so then we talked about Noah's story, and you probably know Noah in the ark and the animals and everything, so you probably are familiar with that story. But his faith story really teaches us about delayed gratification and perseverance through hard times. And because he took almost 75 years to build the ark, and he was made fun of for that long, and his family, I'm sure, they had fights about building the ark and so on. And then we talked last time, a couple weeks ago, because we've been at camp, but a couple weeks ago we talked about Abraham. And Abraham's story teaching us that no matter the circumstances, God's promises are going to come true. That God promises, he waited until he was 100 years old before he had his child, Isaac, who we're going to talk about today. But I'll let Trevin come up here and open with a little story real quick.
So, we're talking about the stories of faith, so I thought I'd share my kind of story. When I grew up in Declo, which is like 15 miles away, and it's pretty much 95% the LDS, so I grew up LDS, and until this point. And so, when I first came to the church, I was like, my eyes were open. It was a new experience, new religion, and I was getting my feet wet in it, and Jared asked me if I wanted to go to camp, so I went to camp. And when I was LDS, I used to tell myself I want to go on a mission, because I always go on missions. And I asked Jared about it, and said, is there any mission work that we do? And he said, well, going to Africa in October. I said, really? And so we kind of talked about it more, and I felt like I was driven to go. Even though I wasn't quite sure, I was scared, and even we had so many problems with it. Like we couldn't get the visa, all that type of stuff, and I felt like God just, people would put up a brick wall, and God just went and tore it down. And eventually, it just turned out we went, and God just kind of led me to go help.
Also did a lot of stuff there too, but yeah, you ultimately he was kind of telling me that he wanted to go on this trip, but he almost didn't want to when it kind of came down to it, and God kept and all these things, these blocks came up, and it kind of was like, oh, good, there's an excuse, I shouldn't go, but then God would just tear it down, and it just kept making a way. It just seemed impossible every time. It kept making a way, and so even though Trevin kind of had one idea, in some ways God had another, and just made that happen. I never knew, we didn't even know we were going to go to Africa, period, until June, so he expedited the passport. It didn't even come here. We had to go to DC and get it there, and it was just crazy. So, but God just kept making a way and kept making it work out, even though everything felt like it was falling apart. So thank you. But we're also talking about Isaac here, and I'll share kind of why his story is a little bit more relevant as we talk about Isaac's story. So if you look in Genesis 27, I'm going to read the part of, there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about with Isaac, but in terms of our guiding verse in Hebrews, which I'll read in a minute, we are just going to look at a particular piece of Isaac's life. And on me, my son, only obey my word and go. Get them for me. So he went and got them and brought them to his mother. And his mother prepared a savory food such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on her younger son Jacob. And she put the skins of the kids on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Then she handed the savory food and the bread that she had prepared to her son Jacob. So he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Now sit up and eat of my game, so that you may bless me. But Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? He answered, because the Lord your God granted me success. Then Isaac said to Jacob, come near, that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob went up to his father Isaac, who felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize them because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, are you really my son Esau? And Jacob answered, I am. Then he said, bring it to me that I may eat of my son's game and bless you. So he brought it to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, come near me and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give of you the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of his father Isaac, and his brother Esau came in from his hunting. He also prepared food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, let my father, and said, who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me, and I ate it all before you came? And I have blessed him. Yes, and blessed he shall be. When Esau heard his father's words, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, bless me also, father. But he said, your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing. Esau said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and look, now he has taken away my blessing. Then he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Isaac answered Esau and said, I have already made him your lord, and I have given him all his brothers as servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son? Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing, father? Bless me also, father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then his father Isaac answered him, see, away from the fatness of the earth shall be your home, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you break loose, you shall break his yoke from your neck. It's a little long, but I wanted you to get the whole story. It's an interesting story because it sounds very, very deceitful and not like God. But let's first read Hebrews 11:20. It's just one verse. This is the guiding verse it says, by faith for the future on Jacob
and Esau. And this was the story of Isaac blessing Jacob. You see, when he discovered that he had been deceived by his son Jacob, he accepted it, really. And he submitted to what he was recognizing as God's will. He didn't want this. He loved his son Esau so much because Esau was the son that loved to be outdoors and loved to go and do things, and that was Isaac's heart as well. And so he loved his son Esau more than he loved Jacob. The scripture tells us that Jacob is a man of tents, and he loved to be inside, and not so much as Isaac loved to be. And so he didn't. I'm sure he loved his son, but his favored son was Esau, and Esau was also the firstborn. And traditionally, in that culture, the birthright goes to the firstborn. And so, so many names. In Isaac's mind, it made sense, and he wanted also to bless Esau, who was the firstborn, who culturally deserved the birthright. And so, when he discovered that he was deceived, he could have easily revoked the blessing and then blessed. He hadn't died yet. This blessing is very similar to like a will in our culture. You know, we leave a will so that when we die, things are passed on to the proper people or children or wherever those things need to go. And so blessings occurred near the time of death. And so Isaac blessed Jacob. I'm blessing Esau. When he found out that he was, that God ultimately had this in store. And I think Isaac recognized that. God didn't. But there's a couple things that we need to know when we as well. And the first is that God had planned for Jacob to be the one in the blessing was promised to Abraham and his descendants to be Jacob's. Rebekah is told by God, Rebekah is Isaac's wife, told by God that her two twins, so Esau and Jacob were twins in her womb. Before they were born, God told her that the elder shall serve the younger, meaning that that blessing was to be passed on to Jacob, who ends up being the younger son because he is born second. And supposed to receive the blessing, but Isaac knows that culturally he's the one that should be receiving the blessing. And so there's all this tension, all this. Well, then one day Esau comes home from a hunt and he's hungry. To give him some food. And so well, if you give me your birthright, I will feed you. And he said, well, what good is my birthright if I am dead? Because he was so desperate to eat. He was claiming that he's basically dying because he's so hungry. And so he says, you can have my birthright, give me something to eat. And so he does that. But Esau refuses to recognize it later. And so there's also this other thing that happens, and that's in Genesis 25, 29 through 34, if you want to look at that. But Esau essentially sells his birthright to Jacob as well. So all of that culminates up to this moment when Isaac is going to try to be essentially deceitful first and give Esau the birthright. And Rebekah happens to hear it and wants to and so even though Isaac, like Jacob, was destined for those birthrights. Now, in God's will, but for some reason in this Jacob did receive the blessing, even though he wanted Esau to have it, is, essentially guided. Sometimes our parents would tell us, oh no, you can't do that because maybe it'll be harmful for you. Have faith and trust in our parents in the same way. Isaac was sort of succumbing to blessing on through his. And so ultimately Isaac's story of faith, this particular piece of his story, is the one that knows what's best. Ultimately, it's God that has the best plan, right? Sometimes we think that we do, but really God is the one that knows best. And he knows far better than any of us could ever even imagine that we think we do. In fact, sometimes we want things to happen and then we see God do something different and we're like, oh man, that was even better. I can't believe that I didn't see that before. But God made a way and made this happen. And part of the reason that I wanted Trevin to share that story is because I don't know that he portrayed the reluctancy that he had very well, but he was very reluctant, especially when we came to the point of actually being ready to go to Africa. There was a lot of reluctancy on his part because it's a scary thing, first of all, to go to another country, and he's coming with me, not with his parents. Known Trevin at this point for 6 months, maybe, and we're going to a place that we looked at some things and talked about things, and so he knows that this place in Africa we're going to is people with guns. It's a scary place. And so he was very reluctant to go. Even show, this is the thing, man. And here's why, and I'm making this happen, and we raised enough money, and we got a passport figured out, even though we didn't have it right away. So, but then these roadblocks would show up, and that was excuses, right, to say no, it's not really what's supposed to happen, even though all these other things have led us to this point. I think I probably should not go, right? And so there was reluctancy, and so, but we kept going because God kept making a way, and we put our trust and our faith in God. That through all of everything that would happen in Africa, we knew that God would provide for us, and we went and experienced nothing crazy in that particular way, and came back completely safe, and God made an amazing trip happen, and we were able to bless those people there in some amazing ways, and we continue to do that here in this church, and it's awesome to see. But we've created a relationship that is going to last, and that's an amazing thing. It was never originally my idea or his idea, or it better, right? Us to do, and in the same way, Isaac wanted to bless Esau, but after seeing that it was God's will to have Jacob receive the blessing in spite of his own wants, he remained faithful to God. And so I hope that hearing this story calls you into some action, makes you think it through, and makes you go, what should I be doing? but the blessings are there. Brain, more words of Scripture in your brain. I mean, now you and in some way now this remember it when you're in a situation, you're going to remember. You have Scripture burned into your. Tell me when. Into my heart. Into my heart. My heart, Lord Jesus. To stay, Lord Jesus. Very simple, but I love it. And so today, I just encourage you to examine your life, to examine the things that God is calling you into, and to examine maybe your own plans and what you think you have in store may be different than what God is really calling you into. Amen. We have potluck downstairs, so please come and join us if you'd like. And there's plenty of food, so don't worry about that.